In today's video, I gathered 10 EToH builders, and they will be passing an EToH tower from one onto another, with each one of them adding their own floor without ever communicating. It's like broken telephone, but with an EToH tower, so let's get right into it. Unfortunately, the tower grinder wasn't able to record his own POV, so I will be introducing the floor that he built. Floor 1 starts off with a string of beat blocks that lead to some buttons. After pressing the buttons, you backtrack a little until you get to the second row of beat blocks, which help you get to the top of the initial structure. At this point in the floor, we are introduced to double jumps, and after completing yet another row of beat blocks, we end up on floor 2.
Hello, I'm 2023 R2, and I'm the second builder in this challenge. My previous building experience is just a half-completed tower and tower grader in a tower with 3 floors and a studio. The previous builder made a nice semi-classic, mostly beat block floor that kinda reminds me of Stone Reborn for some reason. After fixing one noticeable misalignment, I actually started building. I wanted to go for Wildy Wacky Wonder style of mechanics, and while making the jumps Wildy Wacky Wonders is famous for, I actually made the platforms look really classic, which I think pairs well with the first floor style. I also still wanted to incorporate something from the previous floor, so I decided to use beat blocks as well. I basically just spammed cylinders and one-stud pillars until everything looked and played well. I added a nice time section which gives you about 15 seconds of leniency. It's probably a good time to mention that almost all of floor 2 is over a soft block with only one jump being netted. Only the last section of floor 2 is savable, but you have to do all of F1 and F2 again. I made the gameplay feel really tight and full when you're actually playing in it, but also really hard to save yourself if you fall from a higher floor. That's it for me. Rate me a 10 out of 10 or your honest opinion in the comments.
Hello, I'm Hayseno. I played Tower Creator and then I stopped playing Tower Creator. And ever since I started building, I've had 6 projects. All of them unfinished, by the way. Anyways, the first thing I did was take a look at the earlier floors and try to replicate the overall style and level of effort. However, I didn't place as a single piece of gameplay. I saw the last dude use fading platforms, so I shamelessly stole the red one and used it in my gameplay. My part consists of mostly of camera control gameplay, since that's what I enjoy most. So I quickly cooked this up in roughly 1.5 hours. Despite the rush process, I think it turned out pretty decent, even if the gameplay is a little janky and the whole part is kinda dookie butt. Make sure to rate me 10 out of 10 in the comments.
Hello, I'm Comet01 and I'm the 4th builder of the challenge, in which I'm gonna try to build an Hat in Time Zen floor, because, well, I love it, it's the best game ever. Okay, just to give some background, my EToH journey started in the start of 2025, and after some time in summer I met Roma. Our friendship started with his project called Grow an EToH Tower, that I was a developer for. Psst. Roma is a really cool dude, please subscribe to his channel sub. So I started with playtesting the tower. Anyway, the one was nerfed and recolored, and I added some decorations to the floors, including frame and pillars. And overall tweaked some jumps because, well, some of them were genuinely nil difficulty. While editing the floors below, I also added chapters to each floor, so each floor has an unique name and description. Then I started building my own floor. At first I thought of floor design being the conductor's train from the mentioned game, but then I realized that the music I had chosen was from a map type called Time Rift that has a really cool aesthetic to it, such as clock towers and the ambient environment that makes it look like the map is underwater and gives a dreamy feeling. So I decided to mix both styles in one floor and change them a bit, which made my floor look like it's composed of 2 sides, wooden mechanical and dreamy underwater kind of styles. On the mechanical segment I added wooden cogs around the gameplay to make the floor feel like being inside a working clock tower. And on the underwater side I added a floating clock tower right in the middle of the floor, resembling actual clock towers from the side game. Speaking of gameplay, the floor's main gimmick is time, beatbox to be exact. And since the inspiration for the floor wasn't just a Hat in Time, but a map in it called Rhythm Jam Studio, and since the main gimmick of the map is music synced to beatbox, I decided to make the beat blocks, well, sync to the music, of course. Who would have thought of that? The gameplay consists of long jumps, which makes my floor really short compared to other floors, and in turn makes my floor a break floor, considering the difficulty of even the nerfed versions of the floors below. I also added a big clock behind the tower, because generally the tower was so empty, and that's pretty much it. I want to add particles to the floor, but I was late to do that, unfortunately. See ya!
No way, no way, no way, no way, no way.
Hark, good fellow, 'tis I, Pixie Genius Builder, a paragon of contraptions and edifices of great renown. Mine own hands have crafted wondrous towers, such as the colossal spire of Big Chungus Tower, a marvel to behold. Mine own Thor doth draw its inspiration from a mighty vessel that saileth through the boundless heavens, as shown by the twinkling stars in the vast, empty void. In sooth, I followed mine own fancy, adorning it with clever flips and stately seats, and little else besides. That is the sum of my tale. I humbly beseech thee to bestow upon me a perfect score of 10 out of 10 in the comments.
Sup, I'm Word. I've worked with Chrome on a couple of projects like UGP, ToE, Topit, yeah, that's two. And some of my other projects are EToH DNA, and kinda just that. Anyways, I'm gonna be making floors. So while playing this weird little tower, I kind of reminded myself of an error tower from CSCD called Evil Tower of 76, and I wanted to do something stupid, like how that tower has every floor have a gimmick, so I decided to make a floor which it gets progressively harder, and it's also pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's awful. It's really bad. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. So when you're playing this, just so you know, I hate you. I hate you.
Hey, it's me, SanaDev. I made the 7th floor of this tower. But how did this all happen? Well, Chroma sent me a message after a friend told him about me and my past work, which mainly included all of the towers in Senate's Closet, which is my fan game, and you can actually play it right now, link in the description. Okay, I'm so sorry, this isn't meant to be an advert. I originally didn't really know what I wanted my floor to be, so I did a little bit of brainstorming.
Full stories though. Great.
I decided to theme it around Tower wanting extra levels in Zone 1. More specifically, an extension floor in Citadel wanting extra levels within EToH XL. I honestly found this floor to be my favorite of the Citadel, which is why it's the same color. Then I made gameplay. This entire floor took me like 7 days to make, even though I was supposed to make it in 3. I'll just sum up what this floor has to offer. I made this nice balloon contraption with a slanted wall. There's this head hitter that definitely didn't take me 20 minutes to make. There's a reference to B-side in this glowy Kilbrick floors with a cutscene at the end of it that I made using Toad's Atoku cutscene plugin. I also brought back the collapsers from Toto. Made this really super cool, awesome jump that was inspired from a tower I was grinding in the Eternal Abyss. And then there's this floor crossing segment which has one singular jump from every other floor before mine. I added this because I wanted to have a little bit of leniency with this floor by allowing access to a teleporter back to it so you don't have to redo all the other floors if you fail, but I needed to add something punishing before it, and I thought a normal outside section was too cliche. What? And I finished off the floor with a few tightrope wraps in the first jump of the entire tower, but now you gotta do it on the right side of the wall. Overall, I hope I was successful with making this. Emphasis on I hope. I mainly took inspiration from Citadel wanting extra levels, Tower of Vivid sections for the purest gameplay, and Tower of Idiot World. I love Tower of Idiot World. I actually took its first floor music to use since it's really good. Good luck on trying to play my floor legit, since 4.6 has some pretty weird purist gameplay over an insta-kill, so no promises you get here.
My name is The Biggest Fish, and I am the 8th builder of Chroma's No Communication Tower. I have no building experience whatsoever except in Tower Creator. So the reason I started building with Realism is because I surely don't know how to do nothing with client object. So I just decided to stick with that. It was the only way that I could make no decoration whatsoever. So I went with the Zacros type of Realism because that's the type of gameplay I like the most. But it doesn't really match that well. So I just decided to make some with other styles of hobby.
Hello, my name is Chills, and I'm the ninth builder of Tower. All I ever built before this was Miguel Funk Tier 6, 7 rooms in TC, and Escape Evil Tongue Hobby, bro. Anyway, while making this floor, I got inspired by Catastrophic Hobby for the first half, and the second half I did my own thing, but it got corrupted.
Hello, my name is ResonantRose, and I'm the builder of 410. My friend SanaDev made the offer to invite me to Chroma's event, and so, I wanted to do my best to make a decent finale for the tower without communicating. I haven't created any past towers formally submitted to EToH or any of its fan games, but I've been working on a few towers for the fan game I'm developing that showcases towers built by me and my friends personally. I thought about making the last floor a recap heavy summary of the previous floor's mechanics, though I think floor 7 had already done this well enough. Instead, I decided to try and do a quiet object and slightly decorated final floor that helped in making things tense, especially since the tower seemed pretty difficult as is. Even though floor 10 is going to be outside heavy, I thought it'd be fine. Probably. There's enough bottom progress on earlier floors, so it's not that bad, right? I started with the frame, which in hindsight maybe wasn't ideal, because then I had to build the gameplay routing in a way that didn't interfere with it. That being said, I took inspiration from Tower Transfigurative Xenof's 410 frame, and tried to add some tech-adjacent aesthetic. I figured it out working quite well together with the hexagons and stars. The side of my floor is screened for final stretch, by the way. Some other inspirations for gameplay in client objects include Tower of Complexity and Volatility, Tower of Chromatic Inclination, and Tower of Hollow Reformations. I obviously didn't have the time nor experience to try and perfectly replicate the atmosphere these towers were builders have, nor did I want to do a one-to-one recreation. I just thought some of the ideas, structuring, and client objects in these towers were fairly interesting, and I wanted to include them to make some precise client object chains and camera control jumps. Here's a couple of screenshots below of objects I'm talking about in the floor itself. I do think the introduction and placement of these client objects could have been better, since I'm generally assuming the player has experience with some of these in advance. Nonetheless, with about half a week's work being put into the project, I'm mostly satisfied with how the floor gameplay turned out. Even though my heart is baseline extreme, I'd probably put this solidly in SC territory, maybe about extreme or terrifying raw. It's a bit hard for me to tell, especially since balancing is not my strong suit. Technically, I was supposed to add some partial teleporter nets that teleport you back to the start for particularly hard jumps, but I never got around to it. The route makes use of the bounce pad dashes and the X pushers to get around transitions. It's really helpful to move significant distances around the outside without putting down too many parts. Beyond that, most of my focus was trying to make sure that to use as much surface area as I was allowed, without making the outsides too long. But I figured the gameplay can be consistent enough with a decent bit of practice. In particular, this final jump I had to adjust quite a bit. I thought it was a pretty natural fit to end the tower, and I also found it to be pretty hard, for me at least.
Thank you so much for sticking out until the end. I've been working on this video for a couple of months now, and I'm so glad that I managed to get it out. Also, let me know if I should do this again, but instead, gather like verified EToH builders. I also like to thank all the builders for participating, and also special thanks to Amy for voice letting some of the builders. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
Infecting all our feeds without a plan, so you see him daily. Wish that bothers the tongue guy. Could I make all human artwork die?